Videos that expose the truth of the new riots. Do Pakistan Zindabad slogans expose the new rioters? That's our top focus on India First. The FIR clearly says Pakistan Zindabad slogans were raised. Police claim that the riots were planned, meticulously planned. Past 3 years, the yatra was peaceful. This time, the yatris were targeted by a mob that had taken commanding heights. But is this not a failure of the police, not just at the level of intelligence, but also operations? And equally important, is there merit in the narrative, in the criticism that a narrative is being built to give cover fire to those who opened fire at the yatris and those who chanted Pakistan Zindabad? I'm Gaurav Sawant. We will let pictures do the talking. We will let you sift fact from fiction. But first, as always, the headlines on India First. Delhi Services Bill passed in the Lok Sabha. Union Home Minister Amit Shah accuses the opposition of uniting on this issue to defeat the Narendra Modi government in 2024. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal hits back, says Narendra Modi government stabbed Delhi residents in the back. Fresh clashes erupt in Manipur. Forces and Meitei protesters clash in Bishnupur. Chili spray, tear gas and bullets fired in the air. Allahabad High Court gives a nod for ASI survey at the Gyanvapi complex. Muslim side now moves the Supreme Court to challenge the High Court order. Karnataka hijab controversy rerun in India's financial capital. Mumbai College bans burqa on campus, says students must wear only uniform. We begin India First with an India Today special investigation on the new riots. We show you videos of the situation on ground as violence started and then spread like wildfire. India Today has accessed videos that show how stones were pelted from hills surrounding the Nalhar Mahadev temple. India Today takes you up those hills just outside Nu. Commanding positions were taken and then the yatris were targeted. This is where stones flew at the yatris. This is where firing started at the yatris. India Today goes on ground zero to bring you this report.
Gunshots pierced through. Hails of HP's Braj Mandal Yatra passed on its route below on Monday in Haryana's Nu. India Today on an arduous journey to find out who seized the towering peaks to rain down bullets and stones on the July 31 procession. The warm hues of the rising sun, the lush greenery, the ridges, the gentle breeze, and the chirping birds told us a hidden story. Men you see sleeping here aren't on leisurely excursions. We discovered that they have transformed these hills around Nu into a strategic cover. Local villagers escaping arrests, along with suspected rioters. Their face covered, These young men sitting with fellow villagers explained to us why they are staying put in these vast, rugged terrains.
ये आप लोग इतने मतलब पहाड़ों में क्यों छुपे हुए हैं?
भाई पुलिस के डर के मारे छुपे पड़े हैं पहाड़ों में।
क्यों ऐसा क्या कर दिया कि पुलिस के डर के मारे छुपे हुए हैं?
पुलिस आती है उठा ले जाते हैं, ये भी ना पूछती तुम गए वहाँ ना गए, आती है उठा ले।
कहाँ?
गांव में आती है हमारे में।
तो कहाँ नहीं गए मतलब
जो ये जो ये दंगाई आए थे ये।
अच्छा अच्छा।
जो वहाँ चला गया वो भी, जो ना गए वो भी, सब अपने इधर उधर हैं।
नहीं तो पूरे गांव के कितने सारे गांव के लोग पहाड़ों में?
गाँव निकलो पड़ा है जो ये यहाँ पे गाँव में है जो।
अच्छा।
कोई कहीं चला गया, कोई कहीं चला गया पुलिस के डर की वजह से।
तो पूरे पहाड़ों में कितने लोग हैं अभी?
तकरीबन होंगे 500 आदमी।
500 लोग पूरे पहाड़ों में हैं।
हाँ।
For these residents of Nuh, the surrounding Aravalli range is serving as their mountain refuge. In response to an ever-looming spectre of arrests and police crackdown in the aftermath of Monday's mayhem in the district. But the new resident also admitted that suspected rioters have mingled with innocent civilians, taking shelter in the hills over fears of mass arrests. Listen into him again.
जो वहाँ चला गया वो भी, जो ना गए वो भी, सब अपने इधर उधर हैं। पुलिस आती है उठा ले जाते हैं, ये भी ना पूछती तुम गए वहाँ ना गए, आती है उठा ले।
In the FIR, police have mentioned that some of the locals descended from the mountains, carrying illegal arms, lathis and stones to disrupt religious service at a local temple. Videos of purported gunshots and stones hurled from the same heights on Monday have also surfaced. Vigilant gazes cast downward, eyes trained on the lands below. The men spotted a speeding convoy of police cars from afar.
नहीं तो फिर आप लोग पहाड़ों में ही क्यों आए? मतलब कहीं और भी जा सकते थे।
इस वजह से है, जैसे अभी पुलिस की गाड़ी जा रही है, यहाँ से हमें पता पड़ जाते है गाड़ी आ रही है, अपने साइड में हो जाते हैं। 2-3 बस देखो ये कितनी गाड़ी जा रही है, ये 10-12 गाड़ी जा रही है, वो जा रही है, बस है जहाँ मन मारे वही छापा मार रहे।
अच्छा, ये पुलिस की गाड़ियाँ जा रही जो वाइट बस जाती है?
3-4 बस हैं, 7-8 गाड़ी हैं। इसी के डर की वजह से डूब का पड़ा है यहाँ पे।
For these people, it's their makeshift encampment. Black tarpaulin sheets lay casually, ready to be used as cover for the night. Like ants in a procession, more villagers can be seen ascending the hills. Their silhouettes grew more defined with each step.
यहाँ बेसिकली जितने भी पहाड़ों में जो लोग हैं वो सब के सब आप ही के गांव के हैं?
नहीं, हमारे गांव के भी हैं, साथ में ये गांव है, अगला गांव में, हर गांव में से जैसे भी, जैसे कहीं से 10 हैं, कहीं से 5 ऐसे चढ़ जाते हैं डर की वजह से, जैसे कहीं का भी हिर लगता है।
तो ये कब से आप लोग चढ़े हुए हैं पहाड़ों पे?
यहाँ में होगा 2-3 दिन है आज।
नहीं तो इसके ऊपर भी और लोग बैठे हुए हैं?
जहाँ तक ये हर आदमी अपना बचाव करेगा और ऊपर चले जाएंगे, अगर जब भी और ऊपर चढ़ गए भाई अब पकड़ के ले जाएंगे, आखिरी हथियारी और कुछ
नहीं। तो क्या इसके ऊपर भी लोग बैठे हुए हैं क्या?
हाँ, बैठे हैं, जगह जगह बैठ जाते हैं। अब जैसे यहाँ बैठे हैं वहाँ बैठ जाते हैं और ऊपर चले जाते हैं। हाँ, अगर पुलिस ना है तो अपने यहीं बैठे रहेंगे, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, हमें किसी से कोई दिक्कत नहीं।
We now investigate in the violence-hit villages in the lap of the Aravallis below. Rafiq is president of Nuh's Sarpanch Association. He admitted that young men from his village did participate in looting and rioting, and that they all have fled.
5-6-7 बच्चे हैं मेरे गांव के, नहीं है मेरे गांव के, हैं मेरे गांव के बच्चे, पूरे बच्चे हैं कि बच्चे थे। मैं ऐसे नहीं उनको रोकूंगा, तुम कहूँगा नहीं, मैं पैर भी करूँगा, आगे चल के दूंगा उनको। ये 5-7 बच्चे लूटपाट में या दंगे हैं? लूटपाट में या दंगे? नहीं, इसमें झगड़े में हैं। वो लोग अभी हैं, मुलाकात किसी हो सकती है ऐसे ही गाँव में? नहीं हो सकती, वो तो निकल दिए सब। किस उम्र के बच्चे हैं? वो तो उनकी उम्र 25-25, 20-20 साल की, 18 साल की, 22 साल की, इस तरीके से। बाइकें जो मुश्किल आई गई, हाँ, उनमें मेरे गाँव के 2-3 बच्चे हैं। जो चीज़ है, 2-3 बच्चे बाइकों में हैं, बाकी दंगे में 5-6-7 बच्चे हैं जो मेरे गांव में।
A local eyewitness to the Monday rioting, Irfan claimed some rioters arrived from Rajasthan on the Yatra day, some from within New district.
तो उनकी गाड़ी में टक्कर मारी थी पिकअप से।
किसने मारी?
वो पिकअप गाड़ी आई थी, वहाँ 7 या 8 गाड़ी थी, फिरोजपुर साइड से आई थी वो, राजस्थान से।
तो ये लोग कौन लोग
थे वो सारे?
यहाँ कब थे वो लोग?
वो तो बाद में आए, जहाँ पे जब झगड़ा हुआ ना, वो आए हैं, तुरंत झगड़ा स्टार्ट हो गया, उससे पहले नहीं आए थे वो। इसी टे पॉइंट पर आकर के उन्होंने ट्रेन की गाड़ी में टक्कर मारी।
किन पे?
वो वाले जो उनकी गाड़ी में टक्कर मारी थी पिकअप से।
Culpability rests heavy on both sides. Not all hiding in these hills could be culprits. Not all could be innocent either. A challenge for the Haryana police to sift out the guilty from the mass of villagers sheltering in the Aravalli peaks. A report by Mohammad Hizbullah for India Today's Special Investigation Team.
Joining me now for more on the failure of the police, the administration and the alleged cover fire to rioters is Dr. Vikram Singh, former Director General of the Uttar Pradesh Police. Dr. Vikram Singh, past yatras have been peaceful. What do you make of the sequence of events, the FIRs and the violence that took place at Nuh?
Yes, there was a conspiracy. There was a conspiracy because the laws of economics say when the economics is impacted, then it takes multifarious manifestations, and rioting is one of them. Take cybercrime. It is an open secret that Nuh is now the epicenter of cybercrime, not in Haryana, but in the country. 2, cow slaughter and smuggling of cows. Third, all kinds of nefarious and illegal activities seem to be happening there. Yes. And the police think twice, not only the Haryana police, the Delhi police, because there have been very unpleasant incidents when the police parties were attacked by the hooligans. If they have the audacity to attack the police party, heavily armed police parties, then a peaceful religious procession is very easy a target for them.
You make a very interesting point, sir. Nuh is emerging as a cyber crime headquarters across the country. Nuh, Mewat, that entire region is notorious for cattle smuggling. Police have been targeted there many times in the past. Police hesitate to enter many localities here. 10 companies of the police were deployed, and yet they failed to stem the riot. Was this failure of intelligence? Was this failure of operations? Was this failure of leadership at every level, sir?
Gauravji, you would know better than anybody else. It is not the question of 10 companies. Who is leading the 10 companies? Who is guiding those 10 companies? The intelligence, I heard a sting operation on the SO Nuh, who said, we did not get any advanced intelligence.
Yes.
And SO is supposed to generate intelligence himself. Every police station, Gauravji, in the country has 5 major records.
Yes.
Sampradaik Suchna Register, Sampradaik Gunda Register, Tyohar Register, Aparadh Register, Thana Adhyaksh Gopaniya Diary. They are supposed to be the repository of actionable quality intelligence. You are supposed to generate intelligence for yourself and for the state headquarters, and not vice versa. So don't put the cart before the horse. Second, if the intelligence was not only the basic homework that every police officer is supposed to do, is to make preventive arrest, recover all the rooftops, you have drone technology, big data analytics, and also confiscate all fake SIM cards, fake IMEI mobile numbers, and also deploy lathi-wielding home guards on every rooftop so that you have area domination. Telescopic sight rifles, night vision devices, body protectors, they should all have been used. Sadly missing. And that is the thing that is the major flaw in the police bandobast.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, here, the rioters who are dominating from the hills, sir. But there's another aspect, as you very rightly pointed out, social media and the use of social media by the rioters and those who were pushing or peddling these riots. Now, there were also those across the border trying to fuel this hatred in Mewat. People in Pakistan. One Pakistani, Ehsan Mewati Pakistani, and his role is being looked at very, very closely in ratcheting up those tensions to a point of explosion. We bring you this report.
31st July, Noor. Violent clashes erupted at Delhi's doorstep. On the same day, a video on social media went viral, where a man was heard appealing to Muslims to kill absconding cow vigilante Monu Manesar.
और भाई आज तो मज़ो आगो है टंडो डाल दियो है आज तो भाई मैं कह रहा हूँ मज़ो आगो और जो ये नारा लगाने अल्लाहु अकबर यकीन कर यासु तो भाई सीना ना चौड़ो होगो हमारो.
Many identified him as a YouTuber who goes by the name Ehsan Mewati Pakistani. Some claimed that he lives in India and urged Haryana police to arrest him.
सही अब पता लग रहा है कि म्यों होता मतलब मोनू मानेसर छोड़ो मत या कि तो मारूं मैं.
India today has investigated this man who was spewing venom on social media when the clashes in Noor were at its peak. Ehsan Mewati has been uploading content on YouTube since 2019. He has over 80,000 subscribers and 85 lakh views. He has a second YouTube channel called Ehsan Mio, where he has close to 8,500 subscribers. On Facebook, he has more than 1 lakh followers.
अल्लाहु अकबर का जो नारा लगाना है ये कमाल है. तुम वीडियो देखो आगे बाद आऊंगा मैं.
Ehsan Mewati mentions his location as Alwar, Rajasthan on Facebook page. But his profile lists Kairor Pakka, a tehsil in Pakistan's Punjab province, as his location. India today managed to contact Ehsan Mewati. He told us that he is a farmer and his brother is in Pakistan police.
Assalamu alaikum guys, this is me Ehsan Mewati Pakistan का क्या हाल.
He claims that he uses Mewati in his name because his ancestors are from Mewat.
मेवात में.
India today dug deep into the videos uploaded on Ehsan Mewati's YouTube channel. The names and numbers written on billboards revealed that he lives in Chammor, a village in Bahawalpur, Pakistan.
क्योंकि हमारी मेवात हमारा मियों ये डरा क्यों पड़ा है काय चीज तो डर रहा है.
In the last few months, he started uploading communally sensitive videos. India Today investigation also uncovered some vulgar content on his channel. So what does a man living in Pakistan have to do with Noor violence? Why did he post videos on Haryana clashes? Only a full cyber investigation will reveal the real motive. Bureau Report, India Today.
The police are investigating this aspect. Pakistan Zindabad slogans were raised according to the FIR. And Dr. Vikram Singh, if I could bring you into this conversation, this clearly cannot be acceptable if what the police say is true.
This indicates the brazenness and the communal mindset and the communal wiring of a microscopic minority of the people. But the fact of the matter is, Gaurav ji, I would say I have zero tolerance to such objectionable slogans.
Yes.
We live in the most vibrant democracy where everybody, Hindus, Muslims, minorities, everybody are the happiest people on the planet. Well, if those who feel that Pakistan has to be Zindabad, then they better change their citizenship and go where they were choose to. India is just not the place for them. But the wiring, the social media, and also the radicalization is responsible for these objectionable slogans. And my advice to police would be to identify them through video and CCTV cameras, get to the ringleaders and put them behind bars under the NSA and the UAPA.
Sir, but in some localities of Mewat and in Nu, you are well aware, the police are scared to enter some of these localities. They target the police, no fear of the law. And then you have people like this Ehsan Mewati Pakistani, his videos, the FIR seems to indicate that people were instigated. Yatra was targeted, but a narrative is being built in your appreciation. Is cover fire being given to the perpetrators of the riots in Nu, sir?
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is what the whole administrative tragedy is all about. Giving cover fire to those who fired at absolutely empty-handed, bare-handed, peaceful Shobha Yatra participants, and also firing at them. 2 of our home guards have been martyred. One is suffering a head injury. The other is having an abdominal bullet injury. And to give a cover fire to those shouting Pakistan Zindabad, I think they should also be booked under 120B of the IPC for criminal conspiracy. This is not acceptable, Gauravji. To befriend anti-national elements is being akin to being anti-national.
Sir, the fact remains, anybody who violates the law, anybody, strictest possible action needs to be taken against such elements, and we'll be tracking that story very closely. As always, Dr. Vikram Singh for joining me here on India First. Many thanks. I've run out of time on this part of the show, but this is a story we'll be tracking closely. Coming up next is Abha Bakaya with Business Today. Stay with us.
In politics, everyone has an opinion, but I have the data. Whose stock is rising? Whose graph is falling? Track India's political stock exchange. Unmatched, unmissable data analytics. The only show on News TV where numbers do the talking. India's most credible poll tracker. The Political Stock Exchange with Rahul Kanwal, only on India Today.
$5 a.m. on Monday. 4 people are killed in a shooting spree on the Jaipur-Mumbai Superfast Express. Railway Protection Force Constable Chetan Singh allegedly gunned down his superior officer Tikaram Meena and 3 Muslim passengers. Those 1.5 hours of sheer horror still haunts Krishna Kumar Shukla, an attendant who was on the coach, and now a key witness.
माहौल तो सर जी बहुत डरावना था वहाँ का। भाई ऐसा सामने वाला बंदूक लेके घूम रहा था, ऐसे लग रहा था जैसे मानो कसाव वाली कहानी सामने, तो पैसेंजर तो डरेंगे ही ना। मैं वहाँ पेट्रोल का काम करता हूँ, कोच अटेंडेंट हूँ, करीबन 12-13 साल हो गए।
Shukla rushed to the spot where he heard the firing.
हम भी देखे तो सामने वाला नीचे एकदम खून में पड़ा हुआ था, और वो जो जिसने गोली चलाई थी वो बगल में बंदूक लेके खड़ा था।
The train attendant says he got nightmares even now.
हम तो इधर जो पुलिस वाले साहब मरे थे खाली उन्हीं को जान रहे थे, लेकिन बाद में बोरीवली में ये देखने को मिला कि उधर भी एक बॉडी पड़ी हुई है। फिर दोनों बॉडी को बोरीवली में उतारा, फिर इसके बाद पता चला कि स्लीपर में भी 2 हादसा हो गया है।
Police officials who are investigating the entire case are not at all buying the claims that Chetan Singh is mentally unfit and therefore he committed this entire crime. There are several allegations by Chetan Singh's advocate and his family members saying that Chetan Singh was mentally unfit. But the police officials who are investigating this case saying that while this crime was committed, Chetan Singh was very much in his consciousness. He did what he wanted to do and he was very well aware about it.
Meanwhile, the Railway Protection Force has issued a press note saying the periodical medical examination conducted by the force detected no medical ailment. The RPF says if Chetan Singh was under medication, then he and his family kept it a secret. With Saurav Bhaktania and Mustafa Sheikh, Bureau Report, India Today.
तो बजरंगी, आप ये बताइए कि क्या हुआ था उस दिन, आप वहाँ मौजूद थे, कैसे सब शुरू हुआ?
जी, हमारी हर वर्ष की तरह इस वर्ष भी हमारी एक शोभा यात्रा थी और वो बड़ी शांति से हर वर्ष शोभा यात्रा निकलती है, शांति सद्भाव से। और इस वर्ष हमारी परसों जो यात्रा निकली वो पहले से ही हमारा वो था कि हम वहाँ से अपने नल्लड़ मंदिर है मेवात में, वहाँ से जल अभिषेक करके और अन्य मेवात क्षेत्रों में निकलेंगे और पूजा अर्चना के बाद हम वापस अपने स्थानों पर जाएंगे, जिसमें अनेक महिलाएं, बुजुर्ग, बच्चे पूरे गाजे बाजे के साथ हम गए वहाँ पर। हमने वहाँ पर पूजा की। पूजा करने के बाद वहाँ पर हमने खाना खाया, महिलाओं ने, बुजुर्गों ने, सबने मिलके कीर्तन हुआ। उसके बाद हमारी जो गाड़ियाँ थीं वो एक ही रास्ता था वहाँ का, एक सिंगल रास्ता था। उस रास्ते पर हमने बोला कि अब गाड़ियों को घुमा के निकलो। तो जैसे ही हमने बोला कि निकलो तो जो पीछे वाली गाड़ियाँ थी वो आगे हो गई, नॉर्मल बात है। जो पीछे थी वो पीछे हो गई। तो आगे जो काफिला जो चला तो हम कोई 500 मीटर या आधा किलोमीटर चले होंगे तो वहाँ पर हमने देखा कि जो हमारे आगे की जो बस है और गाड़ियाँ हैं उनको आतताइयों ने आग लगा दी, आग के हवाले कर दिया। और फिर हमने देखा वहाँ पर तो वहीं पास में एक मस्जिद थी सड़क किनारे ही, वहाँ पर 200-250 की संख्या में उन्होंने हथियारों से गोलीबारी चालू कर दी।
आप कह रहे हैं हथियारों से गोलीबारी चालू कर दी, आप खुद कैसे निकले वहाँ से, आप ये बताइए।
मैंने बताया ना, जैसे हम वहाँ से फिर जैसे उन्होंने गोलीबारी चालू करी, वहाँ पे आगजनी कर दी, वहाँ पे गाड़ियों में आग लगा दी। तो हमारे पीछे महिलाओं की बसें थीं और भी लोग थे, सभी लोग थे, सब एक साथ। हमने वहीं से ही यू टर्न ले लिया वापस मंदिर की तरफ कि वापस मंदिर पे चलो, क्योंकि मंदिर एक ऐसा स्थान था कि वहाँ पर एक लग रहा था कि हम वहाँ पे बच जाएंगे, क्योंकि पीछे से पहाड़ था पूरा। आगे हम खड़े होते तो चारों तरफ से मुझे घेर लिया था, लेकिन वहाँ मंदिर पे पीछे पहाड़ था, इसलिए हमने सोचा वहाँ बच जाएंगे। तो फिर क्योंकि बचने का मतलब हमें इतना डर नहीं था अपनी प्राण देने के लिए, धर्म के लिए हमें डर नहीं है, लेकिन हमें अपनी महिलाओं, बच्चों की चिंता थी, क्योंकि इनके साथ कोई ऐसी अनहोनी जैसे मणिपुर में घटना हुई कि बड़ा वाला मणिपुर ना बन जाए, हमें अपनी माताओं की चिंता थी। उसके लिए हमने उस यात्रा को वापस करके हम मंदिर में गए।
अच्छा, आप कह रहे हैं हथियार वहाँ पर थे, तो तस्वीरों में तो ये भी देखा जा सकता है कि जो हिंदूवादी संगठन थे, जो शोभा यात्रा में जो लोग शामिल थे, उनके पास भी वेपन्स थे, तलवारें थी, कुछ एक लॉन्ग गन्स के साथ में भी वहाँ पर मौजूद थे।
जो एक आध गन्स होंगी भी तो वो लाइसेंस की हैं, अवैध नहीं है। और तलवार हमारी क्या होती है, पूजा करने वाली होती हैं। ये तलवार हमारी शादी ब्याह वाली होती हैं, काटने मारने वाली नहीं होती। और एक दो तलवार थी किसी कार्यकर्ता पे, किसी बहन बेटी पे, अगर सैकड़ों की संख्या में होती तो लगता कि हम लड़ाई झगड़ा करने गए हैं। कोई अपने परिवार के साथ, अपनी फैमिली के साथ क्या लड़ाई झगड़ा करने जाएगा, ये सोचने की बात है।
Traveling from different parts.
Armed with facts,
Looking at political back.
she takes the news by its horns.
Do you think the future of these students are not hampered?
Fierce, bold, and direct, setting the tone for the biggest stories from every corner and every angle. Expect nothing but the unfiltered truth.
News first, niceties later. Watch me, Nabila Jamal, on India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Hello and welcome. You're with us here on Business Today. I'm Abha Bakaya. Here are the day's top stories.
Morgan Stanley says it prefers Dalal Street over Chinese equities, upgrades its rating for Indian stocks while downgrading China. Says it considers India to be on a path of long wave boom. There's even more good news as S&P Global projects India's economy to grow 6.7% every year on an average for the next 7 years. Says India's GDP to reach $6.7 trillion in 2030-31. Infrastructure and manufacturing are the big boosters. Markets continue their fall for the third straight day. Sensex down more than 1,200 points in 2 days. Follow global cues which continue to remain weak after Fitch downgrades the US. Adani Group consolidates its cement business. Ambuja snaps up Sanghi Industries for 5,000 crore rupees. Sanghi hits the upper circuit for the fourth straight day with the open offer expected at more than 114 rupees. Bharti Airtel misses street estimates. Net profit in Q1 is flat at 1,612 crore rupees. Revenue per user jumps to 200 rupees from 183 rupees last year. It's not only Paytm, Zomato also crosses a crucial financial Rubicon, declares its first ever profit of 2 crore rupees against a loss of 186 crore rupees last year. Share price jumps about 2% in the last 15 minutes of trade. It's a big thumbs up for India. Morgan Stanley has upgraded its rating on Indian equities to overweight. At the same time, Chinese equities have been downgraded to equal weight, citing evidence that China is at the end of a long wave boom which India is just entering. The re-rating could impact flows of foreign investment, tilting the balance towards India in the coming months.
It's good news for the Indian stock markets, a trigger which could route billions of dollars of foreign portfolio investments into Dalal Street in the coming months. One of the largest research and advisory services in the world, Morgan Stanley Research, has upgraded its rating on Indian equities to overweight, saying it considers India to be on a path of long wave boom. At the same time, it considered China to be at the end of such a boom and downgraded its rating on the country's equities to equal weight. Morgan Stanley raised India to the first rank in its framework from the 6th in its last review, in a report laced with a clear preference for India over China. Morgan Stanley said its overweight rating was based on various economic indicators, including 6.5% GDP growth forecast by the end of this decade. China, in comparison, could have a much lower growth rate. India, according to the report, is on a path of a long wave boom, while China is at the end of one. Morgan Stanley says India's manufacturing sector rallied strongly after COVID. A rapid fade in economic activity hit China, while the capital market in India saw sustained superior earnings per share. China's reported negative earnings revisions and falling profit margins. The report adds that it foresees an upside to the rupee, but warns that weakness in the Chinese currency could hit equities as well. Morgan Stanley cites big supply-side reforms in India for these improvements, while noticing a lack of stimulus actions in China. Other comparisons include an overall macro stability in India versus slowdown in macro momentum in China, the increasing confidence of private equity companies in India at a time when they are trying to exit China, and high household savings in India versus the massive debt burdens on the city governments in China. The report also says that while India was becoming an authoritative voice in global geopolitics, China is increasingly facing global backlash on various fronts. The upgrade is the second for India in the past 4 months. Morgan Stanley Research had upgraded India to equal weight from underweight on 31st of March, citing a resilient economy. The research major has also made specific sector upgrades for India, including industrials, financials and consumer stocks. But the report also warns of some downside risks, including inflation surges and the possible impact of artificial intelligence on services export and labor force. Importantly, the report expects the Sensex to reach 68,500 by December, an upside of 10% from the current levels. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
S&P Global has projected India's economy to grow 6.7% every year on an average from 23-24 to 2030-31. The rating agency expects India's GDP to reach $6.7 trillion in the next 7 years. Business Today TV Siddharth Zarabi spoke to D.K. Joshi, Chief Economist CRISIL, about the report.
Thank you very much for joining us. Let me begin by asking you to sort of tell us the key headline that emerges from this report about India's potential economic size.
Well, I think the first big headline is that we expect 6.7% GDP growth per year till 2031, and that will double the size of the Indian economy in dollar terms. Now, this growth is going to be driven primarily by capital, because we have an investment thrust from the government and the private sector is in a position to start the investment cycle, although uncertainty is not permitting a full release of animal spirits at this juncture. The second driver of growth will be efficiency, which comes from the creation of physical infrastructure. Your connectivity is improving and your logistics costs are coming down. So that is a source of efficiency. And on top of that, the digital infrastructure also improves efficiency on the payment system side, on the delivery of subsidies to the masses. And also, I think it's a platform for innovation. So all these together, digital and physical infrastructure combined, I think they create an upside to the growth. Now, I think the only lagging part will be the labor, because I think the labor participation rates are very low. Unless we upskill in a big way and improve the labor participation force, the growth will not be very inclusive in nature.
About venture capital flows, that India is likely to get a higher share of venture capital inflows. Explain that.
Because if India manages to grow fast in the emerging geopolitics, and India, as I said, I think is anyway becoming a hub of innovation because of its digital fast tracking of digitalization. I think all these things create opportunities for venture capital to play. I think there are very few countries where growth is going to be as strong, and India is going to be probably the fastest growing G20 country with this growth rate. So I think it is going to attract a variety of forms of capital, including FDI, venture, etc.
Now let's take a look at how Sensex and Nifty performed in today's trade. The Lal Street continued to remain in bear hug today as headline indices settled sharply lower for another trading session. Selling pressure intensifying in the second half as well. Heavyweight sectors, banking, finance, realty dragging the markets lower. Let's take a closer look. Even an upgrade from Morgan Stanley failed to support headline peers. The Sensex was down over 500 points. Nifty was down 145 points at 19,382. Top Nifty gainers today: Adani Enterprises, Adani Ports, Eicher Motors, Divi's Lab and Hindalco. On the downside, Titan, ONGC, Bajaj Finserv, ICICI Bank and Nestle. Catch top market guru Samir Arora on Business Today TV very soon. Sending your questions on the WhatsApp number on the screen by 4 p.m. Friday. The government has restricted the import of some laptops and other forms of computers with immediate effect. A notification by the Director General of Foreign Trade said the import of such items will now be allowed only with a valid license. However, computers, which are an essential part of a capital goods, will not require a license. Also, computers being brought into India as personal baggage will not be affected. The move comes at a time when the government has approved the second phase of the PLI scheme for IT hardware with a budgetary outlay of 17,000 crore rupees. The scheme is expected to generate an additional investment of 2,430 crore rupees and lead to an incremental production of 3.35 lakh crore rupees. The government has said that it does not expect prices to increase because of this move. The Adani Group has further consolidated its position in the Gujarat cement market with the purchase of Sanghi Industries for an enterprise value of 5,000 crore rupees. Sanghi Industries operates the country's largest single-location cement and clinker plant and will play an important role in Adani reaching its target of 140 million ton cement capacity much before 2028.
6 months after being slam-dunked by Hindenburg allegations, the Adani Group is returning to mergers and acquisitions with a vengeance. Early Thursday morning, reports emerged that Ambuja Cement, a company Adani bought a year ago, is in turn buying majority stake in Sanghi Industries. The deal was confirmed by Gautam Adani at 9:25 this morning, who said the move will considerably leverage the group's shipping advantages. He also announced that the Sanghi plant capacity will be doubled to 15 million tons per year.